Oh, the wrong buttons to press. Because why not? Oh, I am not in the right scene at all. Look here. That's better. How was I not in the right scene? That's crazy. Anyway, hello. Welcome to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, but we dubbed it too because of things we did. Today I'm going to try to get to some endings with the help of a website. I don't know, I have a website here. I don't know how good it is. I hate this. But yes, so we're going back to being Stanley.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
And that's all we want, right? To be happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
Hi.
Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh, that was that. Let me just look at the achievements real quick. Maybe I can see something there. 8888888. Click door for 35 times. Okay. Complete the Stanley Parable in under 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Super go outside. Don't play. Okay. And then something with 8.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided, oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
Yes.
Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No,
Yeah.
no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
I think that was 20 times.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
All the clicks. We're just clicking away.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Where is door number 417? We're just looking for doors now. 417 here.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
437 was here, right? Yeah.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere.
Nice.
Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415.
Now, back to door number 437.
I mean, I like being told
Let's see.
what to do.
How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
How do I climb on the desk?
Yes!
There.
This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it!
Woohoo.
Now the copy machine, do that one again!
Wait. Copy machine? Where's the copy machine? It's here.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it!
Woohoo!
Oh, wow. That felt amazing.
It did.
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
I don't know. What was I thinking? And okay, do I need to? So what is the input received? I don't get that one. Why did you make me bigger, Silver? Why? I'm big enough as I am. Because. Hi. How are you doing? Doing okay? That's good. Playing with my beavers. Yeah, with your beavers. Wait.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he
How
entered
are
the
your
door on
beavers
his
doing?
left.
Can you keep them alive?
Yet
They're
there
not
was not a
dead.
single person
Nice.
here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, I'm going to check on the chickens. Because one is going wild. And I don't know. You're back. Okay, so one of them had an egg and another one stole it and ate it. Killers. Killers. And that's why. Alarm. Yeah, that's what they... Ah, look, we're here.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
He forgot the whole broom closet thing.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
I know there was a way to
Coming
get
to a
the
staircase, Stanley
broom
walked
closet
upstairs to his
locked
boss's
off
office.
completely. But I don't know how anymore.
Stepping in...
Mahaha. Ja, Storm, je kan naar boven. Loop voor mij. Can we still go here? It's... I won't say crazy, but it is crazy that all the doors suddenly open again. Nobody cares about the broom closet now. I felt like that door, but there is no door. So, oh, this door is open. Sweet nothingness. Which floor am I on now then? I guess we're going up. 7, 16. Oh, we're going. Hello, Bliska. How are you doing? How are you doing? What are you doing? Are you going to do anything fun? Have you done anything fun? We need details because we need a life. Oh, we're almost there. Can you feel it? It's like one more floor and then we are on escape pod territory. I'm gonna take it slow and savor the moment. Once we get there, we'll be free. Oh, 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 oh. Escape. Escape! Where are the pods? The door. Oh, I couldn't reach it. Well, that was annoying. That's annoying. Like, we were almost there and then... Oh, wait. So So it's not an ending. It is an ending, but it's not. Okay, so what more do we have? Because we had the freedom ending, the countdown, the museum. We had the broom closet Easter egg. Okay. The confusion ending. Yeah, we did that one with the line. let's just see what we can do if he takes the other
All of his
one.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But my mic isn't muted anymore, right? So you can hear me. You're just
When Stanley
choosing
came
not
to
to
a set
answer.
of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
We can hear
lounge
you.
first,
Okay.
just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I know, right? Oh. Can I... Is it just... No, it's not.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun so far off the beaten path that it's...
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Okay. Well, that didn't do anything really.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So I think today I might actually drink some whiskey
When
because,
Stanley came to
you
a
know,
set of
sort
2
of
open doors,
celebration.
this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Maybe.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, he did not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I shoot, right? Is there a way to get there?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
I don't think
I'm not
so,
sure
right?
anything.
It will
Really,
stop
I'm not.
there and then if
I
you...
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop
Then
trying
maybe,
to make every decision
if
by yourself.
there are any, maybe I
Not
can
asking for me.
buy a PlayStation 5. Maybe.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your
But
life.
first put something
She's
on
been
my
waiting.
savings account. You know, in
That's her,
case of...
Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone?
Yes.
But that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
Patrick, you were streaming, right?
No,
How are you
it's
hosting?
definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits.
You were being a
Not picking up
pirate.
the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything.
No, I guess
I don't understand.
you stop.
How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's
I
not
forgot them to
possible. I
grade the
can't
streams.
believe it.
Are
not
you
noticed
done
it
with
sooner.
Sea of
You're not
Thieves
Stanley.
already?
You're a real person.
And hi.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
What?
Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice.
Hi, Rupert.
He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
Ooh, a back sack and crack.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Oh, we're not going back there.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
So, do I go back now, or do I just... Oh, I can't anymore. Okay, I guess we're going back. Well, I guess this was an ending. I don't know if we get locked up in our room or something.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
This is cool, though. Ah. If I go back now, is it worse? Nah, it's fine. Yeah, I was reluctant. I wanted to say hi to you on your stream, and then I didn't. Oh, look.
Oh, it's ruined. I
It's
can't believe,
okay.
after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so
Danger
special about
everywhere.
seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way.
There?
Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work?
No, I want to go to the door with that.
That's the answer. What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Uh-oh. No, that didn't work.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
Do I now go?
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, let's go to left, because this will probably...
No! Why did you do that?
It's the
Quickly,
same.
hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would.
Don't
that
listen.
Means choosing
I'm going to continue to not listen.
Story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
He's not saying anything about it anymore.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley
This is
would.
just a loop now, right? Nothing will change.
Always putting the
It is.
story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always
should
putting the
probably
story
check
first.
on the chickens
I'm
again.
quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And he doesn't say the no when I walk in. He says it when I try to walk out.
Why did you
again.
do that? Quickly, hurry back. behave exactly as Stanley would.
Okay.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and
I'm
you'll be
going to
fine.
check
All right.
on the chickens.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, he's back again. Oh. So this is the loop. We are now just... I think the wheels of my table will break down soon. Okay, we'll go here.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What is better? Nothing's better. There is no need to twist mijn broodje for me to be big. I'm big enough as I am. So we haven't.
Coming to a staircase,
We
Stanley
can't.
walked
We can't
upstairs
even
to
go
his
down
boss's
anymore.
office.
Echte silver. I will see if I can do something that it just zooms in to the camera. 30 minutes of big leak. Okay, but if I... Oh no, it's just the managers.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Nightshark 115. It wasn't correct.
Stanley spoke the code.
Nightshark 115.
He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Nightshark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem?
Yes, I can
You didn't
speak.
mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
But I can't speak. Nightshark 115.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it?
No.
But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door.
The end?
Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right?
How is this the end?
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together.
We didn't get all the endings, so how is this the end? It is a ending.
Choose.
How?
Do something.
So which ending is this?
Anything. This is more important than you can ever know.
I'm confused.
I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide.
But the other the other endings aren't really endings because you restart.
That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Okay, so we did the confusion ending. Powerful, cold feet, fall to your death. We could try that one. We already had the apartment. Only there was another thing, like the random vampire said something like, don't go in, run away or something.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Was it a sign of something?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
But the
first,
game just
to
restarts
admire
and
it.
we go on and on, Patrick.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Echt? Kippen? Somebody wants some chicken tonight?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
I think I will need to check the chickens again. I really don't know what's going on there. Stanley will be here in this room. So, are you telling me you can't wait to play this game, Patrick? Because we can arrange that.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
But your viewers
Stanley
seem
came to a
not
set
it.
of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
But I'm still not going to. No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired
The
years
fun
ago.
thing is that I didn't walk off the platform
Look, Stanley,
myself,
think
so I
perhaps
don't know
we've
how
gotten
we
off on the wrong foot here.
got there.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To
Okay,
put
so
your
let's
work aside. To let her back into
answer
your
the
life.
telephone and then
She's
not
been
walk
waiting.
into the door or something.
That's her, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Of
Who'd want to
course.
commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
No. That I'm not going in.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What happens if I don't push it, then we just sit here and wait?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's
But
pushing
we've
a
seen
button.
this one already, so that's not fun. We might as well restart ourselves. So the only thing that happens is that there's a wall there. Apartment phone call, choices unblock. Sending. Oh, that's with the lights, and then you have to... we did the one with the games. Yeah, that's... Ending before the doors, the coward ending. Don't leave your office. We did that one. Out of bounds, the window ending. Okay. Let's try and see if we can get that one.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
It's pretty
Why
light.
don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Is there, if I say no? No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue.
Yay.
But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it.
And now I have
hadn't
to
brought
do
up
the same
issue
again
in the first place.
and choose
Oh,
yes.
Now, think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option.
Well, that's
Indeed,
the thing,
you are
right?
one of the lucky ones.
But I
Though
didn't.
if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky.
No one
Well
was
now,
lucky.
I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Yes, okay. Well, we have to restart then. And choose the other option, I guess. And see what that does. I want to see them all. And then I'm done with the game for
All of his
10
co-workers
years.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative
Because that's an
tropes.
achievement,
So,
right? Don't
now that
play
you're
the game
here,
for
what do you
10
think?
years.
Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
Woohoo! So, do we have to wait until the music is done? Will he restart? Or do we have to do it ourselves? Questions. The page contains... Okay, the computer input. get to this ending, you have to restart the game several times, but the inputs will carry over. Okay, so I guess we'll do that. And this just goes on and on and on. So we'll go for the computer input now if we are able to do that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But it's not on. Okay, so if it's not, then oh, here it is. 23. And 23 computer restart. Restart the game once more. Okay. Begin the game again. And restart. Continue. Non-home. Okay, so now we go to the
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley
secretary of
decided
the
that as
boss.
soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Restart the game again. Well, this is a restarting ending. But now it should have a wait input in at my computer and it doesn't. So what am I missing? Did I skip a step? Who's calling? Which telephone?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Don't ever listen to recorded messages. Restart the game. Isn't this fun? The bar's filled. Welcome, Stanley, to heaven. We can press all the buttons. That's cool. Okay, so this is heaven. Just pressing buttons forever. Alright. Okay, you have to restart the game. That was heaven. Pushing buttons. Buttons. Okay. Serious. For this ending. You can exit anytime at your PC. You need to bring down the developers. Oh, I'm not going to do that one now. Whiteboard. Ending. That's so we had that round one. Okay. We already had the new content ending. Now we had the sequel ending, the infinite hole ending. Was closed off to us because we had too much fun there. Okay, so now we go to the bucket endings. Endings. What do I have to do here? For this ending, it's necessary you pick up the bucket. Okay, so we go to the bucket, and then we go the employee lounge, and then down, and then something. Buttons, I mean, button. What? Telephone.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
But I couldn't. Okay.
Warmth spread
Bucket.
through Stanley's arms.
You have a bucket
With the
again.
bucket in his arms again, he was
Everything
home.
is a bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to... And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Uh-oh.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
But narrator, everything was
Go
bucket.
ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Everything was bucket.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits.
But you can
What
always
other
take it
object in
off
this
and
game can you even
then
say that about? The broom closet?
for
Certainly
2
not. I
months.
wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer
About 2
merchandise
months
the
and then
fans will be
just
clamoring
throw it
for
again,
after
right?
this.
For a Movember.
The Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now. The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
I said. Like, you can just shave it off now and then grow it again in November, right?
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye.
So you're gonna shave it in
new
November?
friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
No? There will be no sharing. No shave November means no shaving. No, so you should shave before November and then
Stanley had never seen the office this
grow
brightly
it
lit.
with
Was it a sign of something?
fresh hair
He
again.
hoped it was. He hoped very much. Stanley picked up
No.
the bucket and smiled.
Yeah.
He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Can I do this with the bucket? I don't know. Go to the meeting room. What's this office? Okay, let's try this. I don't know. But we're just gonna see.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
So
guiding
as soon
him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
what again?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
No.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Why? Why are you so quiet, Bucket? I need company. I need you to speak to me.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over.
Over and over and over.
Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
But what if I don't want to go back into the elevator? Okay, we... Why is my chat moving? You shouldn't be moving, chat. Okay, so we go up and down, I mean down and up and back again, and pressing trees and all the stuff.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
I like to slam the number 3. Let's do it again.
No, 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 said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
The bucket is being cold. I don't know. Why is he so distant? We didn't throw him in the bucket destroyer. I mean, my whole world
Here
exploded.
we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
I think the bucket doesn't love me anymore.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Sure.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
Woohoo, all the 3s.
This was it.
There we
One
go.
last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
Darn. Okay. Here we go.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference.
Oh.
There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
That was sad. Or was the bucket so mean? We did the bucket museum ending already. So now we just need to...
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory.
Will the bucket be
What did
there
it look
though?
like?
Oh
There
yes,
was a
it is.
computer back. The good old bucket.
Here we
Just
go.
Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Oh my
It
god.
was incredibly painful.
No.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
But I wasn't a bucket. But I had a bucket in me.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
He backflipped all the way to work. Okay, so that was the... Now we need to go up. But
All of his co-workers were gone.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked.
Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
yes, certainly. So I do the normal ending, and is there also the explosion ending with the bucket? We did the one to go home. Oh, we still need to go to the house and unblock the thing with the bucket. This is a bucket ending. I think we're pretty much done.
Stanley and the bucket
Most
walked
endings.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
But
television
we have
screens.
been playing
What
for
horrible
an hour and a
secret did this
half
place hold?
again.
Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
So I still need to do a few. And then I need to keep the
monitors
game
jumped to
running
life,
for an
and
entire
Stanley nearly
Tuesday,
dropped
or
the
is it
bucket in
just a
shock.
day?
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be fine.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one, except for the bucket.
So do I press on or off
But
first?
here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very
Let's
place.
try on
And
first.
as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
Oh my
Stanley
God.
gasped in
What?
horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Okay. Let's just see what this. I know, right? Only it's other birds? Other birds.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned
So
on him.
is this back?
This
Yeah.
wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Yeah, we still haven't. Oh, I was still looking at the birds. Is there old paper here?
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. A good bucket. A strong bucket. A humble bucket. A committed
Okay,
bucket.
yeah, I'm
A
just
bucket
going
of
to
culture.
see if
Stanley
I
clung
can.
the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
Can I? Oh, we can do this with the bucket too.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's
Yes.
ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the
So
bucket
much
wondered to
more,
itself.
perhaps.
If it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket?
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No.
Said the bucket. Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the secret
Gambhorata?
amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of...
No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power.
We-
Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
I haven't even. How do you sticker the bucket?
Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
How do you sticker the?
The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket
That's why I
tightly to his
can't.
chest
I can't.
and entered the door on his left.
I can easily mistake my bucket for
Still, no one was
one
here.
of the other buckets.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than
Have
ever.
I been in the closet
Perhaps
with
his
the
boss's
bucket?
office was where he'd find answers.
No. I think not. I don't know.
Oh, Stanley, can you
Have
feel
stickers?
it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner?
Well, I never.
Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by
I
point.
killed him.
Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Woohoo!
There. Now it's settled. No more debate.
No, it's
no
mine.
more discussion.
Okay.
Take a hike, broom closet, with
Yeah.
all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
But a bucket was A bucket. Everything was a bucket.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Don't know. Well, let's just go on.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
More stickers? Are there more stickers? I don't know.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Let's
Crushed
first
by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if
go
not
to
for
the
the
freedom
soothing
ending.
presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
But we have 2 stickers. That's okay for now, right? I think I need to cook today, but I don't want to.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Everything will be.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
But there's enough of me here.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again...
There, we did it. Oh.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it.
We had
Stanley
done
and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Uh-oh.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay, so you can't leave with the bucket. And we know. So what did I say? Oh yeah. I think the headphones are breaking, and it's a shame because I really like them, but sometimes I only hear sound in one ear. And then I have to play a bit with this thing here, and then it becomes better, but
Just a step through this door,
when
Stanley
I
thought to
move,
himself,
then
that's
it
all I need. If I
might
can make it
fall.
through this door... The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
So we did everything. No, we didn't.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping in.
Ha! This is it. Here we go, bucket. Almost there. Oh, I got the money back from the other TV. So I could pay my mom back the money I borrowed to buy this one. So that's nice. I had to call for them to actually do something. The narrator must be present in order to escape. So oh yeah. Be free, Bucket. It's empty. At least the bucket has freedom. Bye, bye, bye. I guess it's right there when I walk out the door to the other room. I guess.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No! The bucket is gone forever. Shit. I can do the bucket endings then. The other ones. Because I sent it off. No. Maybe there's one in the broom closet.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided, oh no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay. So how long do I need to stay here before he closes it up permanently? But then now I don't have the bucket again, so and again anymore. So I can't do the bucket ending. I messed it up for myself. I don't know.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I've never taken this elevator, I think. Okay, so if I just go down, is it only elevator music? That's only elevator music. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
You saw nothing.
Thanks for the lyrics, Silver.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
But it's not... I don't know why
As the
I
machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer
should
and
be
closer
able
to his
to jump
demise,
out of here,
it
but there's
reflected
no
that his life
jumping.
had been
So.
of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Look how dead I'm not. I'm not.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When
Yeah,
every
but then
path you
everything
can
is
walk has
about
been
the
created
bucket.
for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
I've been here
Do you
before
see
with the
now?
bucket.
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Let's see. Stanley walked through the green door. Now look closely, Stanley.
Yeah.
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room? Perfect example of poor level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. His co-workers. I'm just going to make this easy on him. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you?
Yeah, like just here. That would be cool. And then still you can not you know, keep some secret, but
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
who is
As long
both?
as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room.
The
Perhaps
bucket.
he had
It's
simply missed
here.
a memo.
Okay, so what did we need to do with the bucket?
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Try
But
not to
Stanley had
lose
felt
it.
the bucket
I didn't
calling to
lose
him,
it. I said
telling
it's
him
free.
that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket
I want to go
asked.
there, but I can't. But I want to, but I can't. But I really want to.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once
Pulling
again
the cord with the
obeyed
bucket.
blindly.
Yes.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now. Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back. I can feel it. This time,
I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Well,
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
yes, it will
Here
help.
we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
So do I go to the right again? Because, you know, reasons.
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Oh yeah, and this is the
Here we
the
go.
loop we
You
had.
ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Okay, let's go to the left.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it a delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame?
Well, this is
Pale.
another ending.
What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm
I did that one.
Jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make
No, we
me
still
the
need
king
to
of
fall to
comedy
death.
again.
I
More
guess with the
instructional
bucket.
videos. Let's see.
What I also want to try is if I have the bucket, if I can go into the... So we stick with the bucket and then I think I'm done. Then I've done all the escapes. And then we need to go to see the epilogue thing, but that's in the So from the
Wait, Stanley thought to himself.
menu.
Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in?
And then
How is that possible? Not
done.
everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Ooh, so very, very
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
No, the bucket was
never mind.
wrong.
The bucket was wrong.
So
Stanley
wrong.
took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
So
No,
let's
said the bucket. Don't
first
go to the
go
meeting
here.
room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh no, oh wait, I wanted to go in here. That's it. With the bucket, we were able to go here with the bucket.
You saw nothing.
Okay, this is day number 295.
Thanks
Tape
for the
number...
look.
I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
Well, that was cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it.
What?
If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo...
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
It would be cool, though, if they would...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
If they would put in
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
a
well.
person
Perhaps he wanted to stop by
following
the
you
employee
through the
lounge
other
first,
hallways.
just to admire it.
But they didn't.
It was okay.
Was it?
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
What was here? This is the last one I'm going to check. And maybe I should have brought a bucket.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Oh, this is the confusion ending.
From here, it's, left.
No, it's right.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right, left, down...
Oh, maybe
left,
I did this
right.
one already with the bucket, I don't know.
Okay, yes.
I don't remember.
I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The bucket is not here. It's not here.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or...
Did not.
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh no. This wasn't the way to the story. Oh, but this looks different.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
But I was somewhere new. Boo, narrator.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Ha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
I put in so much work.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Restarting.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Really? But I don't want to follow the line. Because I know where the line is going. The line is going here. Yeah. So. But I'll follow a bit.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music.
Oh,
Go
no.
back and look at that fern.
What fern? This fern?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story.
Okay.
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully.
Yes.
You won't want to miss anything.
No.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? No, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
But pirate.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Yeah, it's fun. I think
Now,
it's fun.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh,
think my
no,
mom
not you
might be
again.
making food.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our
think I
awesome
smell
new story.
something, but I'm
No
not sure.
lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it.
How?
And we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Oh,
From here, the
decision
story is in
making.
our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
You won't do it?
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, here's the bucket again. So can we get that ending with the bucket? But it
Stanley
takes a
cradled
long
the bucket
time.
in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive.
Maybe
yet
I should just wait. We'll go back to the menu, and then we'll play the epilogue. Oh, that was fire. Good. Sandstorm? Music is a bit loud, isn't it? So my mom ordered food. It will be here in I don't know how long. But I'll try to be done by then. Ooh. Ruins. That looks familiar. Yeah, we've been here, right? This is where we skipped the narrator, I think. Like Tomb Raider, but the world is yours and live your life and don't repeat the story, please. This is I don't think I think we've seen everything we could. Maybe not, but apparently there are some cheats you could use, but I'm not going to. This will be the last of Stanley for now. All the buttons still say Jim. Jim. And then there's Elder Scrolls I want to play. Still not sure if I should make a new character or not.
Stanley.
Oh!
Stanley. Jim.
Stanley! One button said Stanley. Oh my god. Collectibles. Woohoo! Collectible! Hello, game. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. Stanley Parable is not sacred. We don't need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, it was the narrator's problem. He's so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together we're going to make Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game title screen. We also need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead. Try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Stanley. Ooh. The ghoulish hole punch. Or paper jam. I like hole punch. I love it. Every time you start a game, I'll advance the number of the sequence by 1. I'll pick a new subtitle. That's the way. Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing of the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. We don't need that. Just the same content, recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it. But I want you to have a say in it as well. Are we going to do it? Are we not going to do it? Are we going to do it? Let's do it. What am I going to get? Oh, are we getting the broken achievement? Of course not. I wouldn't accept things to know how to. That's been bothering me. Let's fix it. There you go, the achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. Stanley Parable cannot end. It'll only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. One last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. It's nowhere in the PM. Oh, the sliders. Woo! There's a car. Why is there a car there? So I wonder if this is just for testing, and then I'll end the stream because I think the food will be there. And if I say no now, will we keep it at Stanley Parable 3, the ghoulish hole punch? Many, many years later. It's unique, yes. Now we need to get through the whole sequence again of time passing. But I wonder if we say no now, will it change back to Stanley Parable 2? I need to know. I wish I could jump. Woohoo, we're back here again. Oh, that still says 2. Oh, and I missed the 1, right? So that's a shame. I can't collect all the blue. Yeah, I wonder, did I go these 2 doors? Did I enter the computer too fast? But it was okay, apparently. Hello again. Do you remember that we already did this? Oh no. Together we are going to make Stanley Parable 3. 4, I mean. Oh, well, no. No, I like the Forgotten Co-workers, but so I guess we can't undo. It already remembered we were at Stanley Parable 3, so we can't stop it. It totally is. This one is actually cool. Nice title screen. But with this, let me sit up. We've been streaming for 3 hours. And I think that's enough. Right. We've done everything we could for Stanley Parable. Well, and the food is here. So I'm going to end the stream, I think. Developer should visit. An institute, you mean? Something like that? Okay, food, I'm just going. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.